Arik Armstead, who is here for a number of things, including the Stay Hungry Youth Football Camp in Sacramento in July. Talk to us about that, and then we're going to dive into Jaguars questions.
Yeah, really excited about that, bringing free youth camp to my hometown of Sacramento, but not just a football camp. With all my camps, we like to add, we use football as a means to get the people and the families there, but we're also doing a college tour of Sacramento State. We're doing wellness workshops and financial literacy workshops, which is going to be a great time. I have a lot of fun hanging out with the kids and getting on the field, but also getting in the classroom. I want them to see college experience, college life, and be thinking about their futures, their education, and where they want to go in life. So.
Great. It's unbelievable. Go ahead, Bruce. Sorry.
No, I was just.
Did you go to Sac High? Where did you go?
No, I went to high school in Elk Grove.
In Elk Grove. Okay.
Yeah.
Whole half of my family's in Sacramento. That's why I asked. Yeah. I didn't realize.
All
right. Let's talk Jags to start with, at least. I don't know how much you watch the show. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy.
Every day.
You used to call him the Prince.
They told me not to call him the Prince. That was promised. I obviously still do. Last year, tough year for the team as a whole.
Yeah.
This year, new coach, knew a lot of things. Kind of having been in San Francisco for, I guess, 9 years, and then Jacksonville won, now going into year 2 in Jacksonville. Kind of your thoughts on Trevor and your thoughts on why this year could be different than last year.
I think each year can be different, especially in the NFL. New teams emerge, and football is such a tough sport that you can't, rely on what you did in previous years. You can't even rely on what you did, throughout the season. Like, each game is a new opportunity. Anybody can beat anybody, really, in the game of football. And so I'm excited about this season. I'm excited about our opportunity. There's a lot of newness, new coach, new GM, new leadership. And with that, it brings a lot of excitement and a lot of opportunity. And the thing that I know is when you do something for the first time, you want to leave a lasting impression. And so I know our leadership is going above and beyond to make sure that everything is what it needs to be, because I know they want to have, leave an impact and make a mark in their first season. So I'm excited to be a part of it and trying to build a winning culture and get to a level of dominance in Jacksonville.
Wow.
Obviously, you got Travis Hunter, who, the great two-way player. It just seems somewhat unfathomable in today's NFL that a guy could play both ways. Have you seen him out there, and what have you seen so far, and what do you think are his chances of really excelling on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, it does seem impossible until, you're around Travis, really. And I think one of the most impressive things about him is he's out there, he's doing, it's hot in Jacksonville. Yeah. Like, we sweating, and this dude doesn't break a sweat. You look at him, he's smooth. He's very elastic. Everything just comes natural to him, just a natural-born athlete. And when you look at playing both sides of the football, his schedule is crazy. It's like 2 days he's on offense, and then he comes over, and then he pops up in our defensive meetings, and then he's out there with our color jersey on. And first day he's playing defense, makes a crazy interception, and then goes on offense, scoring touchdowns. So I'm really excited to have him as a teammate, and he brings a lot to Jacksonville, not just who he is as a player, but who he is as a person. He's bringing a lot of excitement to the city, and people are going to want to, watch him play. So.
When you talk about the newness around the team, is there anything specific that you're like, oh, this is new for me? You've been in the league a long time. I'm like, oh, this is new. I like this specific part of camp, or the specific way that the new leadership is running things versus the way you've done things for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think everyone has their own, little spin on things. I would say for me, it's the openness to communication, the openness to listen to your players. I've been
they're
through
asking you questions.
Yeah, it's very open. It's like, what do you guys think? How can we make things better? More conversations. We're texting. I went to dinner with me and Josh Hines Allen went to dinner with Liam about a week after he got hired. I never went to dinner with any of my head coaches. Even though I've had some great relationships with head coaches, I never went to dinner, especially a week after being hired. Mm-hmm. And so it's very open. like I said, they want to do things right. And, we all have a lot to learn and grow. But, I'm very excited for the trajectory that we're headed.
I've got a couple questions about a couple defensive coordinators you've had. One we know very, very well, which is friend of the show, guy who's been on the show since day one, Eric Mangini. He was your D coordinator as a rookie.
Yeah.
And we know, everybody that knows Eric in this world, like especially off the air, he's like the kindest, gentlest, nicest guy. Seems like his reputation as when he was a coach was maybe a little different than that, but maybe I'm wrong. As far as him being your D coordinator when you first round pick came into the league, do you have any great Eric Mangini, either memory or anecdote?
Well, I would say his calm demeanor definitely is representative of, who he was as a coach. I would say as a coach he was a little more fiery, would get on you, but he still had that calming, kind of laid-back presence. The memories I have of him entering the league as a rookie, I feel like I had the most first-round pick rookie year of all time, especially training camp and preseason. First off, they gave me number 69, which as a defensive lineman,
you're right.
It's
like
not it.
Might not make the team.
I played dang near every snap in the preseason games. They had me out there dying. And so I still feel, and I tell the young guys now, I still feel like I've been through multiple eras of the NFL. I was still part of that old school NFL, there was still fullbacks and there was still, heavy, big blocking tight ends, and
Love
life was a little different. And
you were stepping in for a legend, right? They drafted you because Justin Smith, pardon me, who was one of the most underrated 3 techniques ever, steps away, and then you have Mangini barking at you and playing you 100 snaps in preseason.
Yeah, it was tough. They relied on me, but it was good. It was great for me in my young career to go through that and earn the trust from my coaches and my veterans. And throughout that season, I ended up playing a lot and having a big impact on our team.
And then the other coordinator I wanted to ask you about is Robert Saleh, who is obviously your coordinator for some great, great defenses. He then goes to the Jets. He's now back. How much of an impact do you think he can have? The Niners defense, because they lost a lot of personnel, over the last few years. You're obviously one of them, but a lot of other guys as well the last couple of years. But now he's back. How big of an impact do you think it has for one of Brew's favorite teams, the Niners?
I think he has a tremendous impact. I love Saleh. We went through a lot of ups and downs together, building a winning culture in San Francisco, going from the bottom of the league, no respect, to the top. We're being known as the best defense in the league for years and years and years. And being part of that journey with him and the rest of the guys, I'll never forget. And, it's definitely a big part of my career. But Saleh's going to bring a lot. I look back at the 2020 season. We had a whole bunch of injuries, guys going out. And with Saleh's leadership, it seemed like our whole team was hurt. We still finished the top 5 defense. That's the standard that was set. It didn't matter who was out there. The standard was set that we're the best defense in the league, and we still finished top 5 in defense regardless of who was out there. And so Saleh's going to bring a lot back to the Bay, and that's why it was just waiting to happen. That they were going to let him do his process, but that was the number one choice, obviously, for him to go back to San Francisco, and I think he'll be happy there and see how things go.
Obviously, you were there with the Niners up until last season. Will you tell Nick Wright how good Brock Purdy is?
Well, that's a leading
he's
question.
A hater.
Why don't you just ask
He's
him?
a hater.
Maybe
how good is Brock Purdy?
Well,
I think he's good. He thinks he's like.
I'll tell you this. So I talked to a lot of the receivers at the time, Ayuk, Debo. What's the difference? Because I felt like in 2023, that was the best offense we've had in my entire tenure of that time.
And they said Christian McCaffrey.
And obviously Christian, Offensive Player of the Year, but it all goes hand in hand. When I talk to the receivers, though, the major difference how Brock changed our team was receivers felt like they could get the ball on any play. It switched from, okay, I'm out of the progression, I'm just doing a runoff route, to, hey, I better run my best route regardless of the play, because Purdy may just throw it to me and feel like, oh, I'm better than the DB covering me and give me an opportunity. And the receivers love that, and you could see how our offense took off that year. Of course, Christian was a big part of that in that running game.
The biggest part. Just a part.
Yeah.
Christian was a big part of that in the running game, but Purdy's ability to open up the offense and make uncharacteristic, off-schedule plays and really open up the offense to, if he's felt like Ayuk was maybe a little covered, but he just felt like Ayuk was better than the guy, he was gonna throw him the ball. And we hadn't had that previous years.
We're in June right now, where I think we're like 81 days before you guys play the Panthers and Bryce, and then you got Joe Burrow the next week. What is your prep from today until you start like getting into like Bryce footage and Joe Burrow footage? Like, how do you use these 81 days till your first game?
Yeah, for me, it's more so I study quarterbacks a little bit the game week, but it's more the offensive linemen. So I'm already aware of some of the guys that I'm going to be going against. And,
do you do 1 week at a time, or you try to like cram the whole season in as a process? How do you do it?
No, I might just start taking a peek at the film. I do a lot of self-scout and self-evaluation, so I watch a lot of my game tape, figure out how to tweak my game, what I can get better at, and then I'll start peeking at some of the guys I'm going to be playing against and really breaking down offensive linemen, but doing it more in depth, like once we get into the season. Right now, it's really preparing my body for training camp, working on my skill set so I can have a great training camp, feel good, everything hitting on all cylinders heading into the season, and then I'm going to start breaking down who I'm playing against, even more.
All right, before you go, these guys try to, cause a rift here, even though we're both the only ones with Sacramento ties, just because I wasn't a big Purdy guy. But you're not on the Niners anymore. You're on the Jags, and unlike that side of the table, I think Jags can be really good. I think you guys can win the division.
You don't know what I think about the Jags. You know what I think about it.
I'm interested. If he's really grinding tape.
And Bruce said it earlier. We have a soft spot on this show for the Jags because of the Prince, and one of the greatest playoff comebacks in NFL history is the guy got hurt. The guy got hurt. What do you want? And by the way, I'm shocked you didn't ask a Mac Jones question because he was his quarterback.
I was
last year.
saving it till the commercial break.
But what is, and I don't know if we have any pomp and circumstance for it, but what is the path this year for the Jags to getting back? Oh, there we go. See, this is just one more
appropriate for an interview.
What do you mean? We're talking about the Jags.
This is not appropriate for
What do you mean?
a guest.
We're talking about the Jags. It would be inappropriate not to have them. So again,
He's like, there's confetti all over the place.
Again, we're a serious journalism program. What is the path for the Jags to get back to where I know when you signed with them, you thought the team could be?
The path, it always starts in your division. You look at our division, I feel it's very winnable. And I think that's where it has to start. Dominating our division. And, that creates that path for you to get into the dance and, make some noise in the playoffs. So I think that's where it starts. I like the direction that we're headed towards, really moving towards having a really efficient offense, mixing pass and run and utilizing Trevor's skill set to move the pocket and make throws down the field. And then defensively, I like where we're at as well, too. I think we have a lot of dogs on defense. And we're mixing up coverages. We're playing fast up front, so I'm really excited.
There you go. I like it.
All right.
I like it. I'm just telling you guys, I like it. One of the, arguably the best D-line in the AFC. I think the Giants are arguably in the NFC. Great receiver core. Obviously a great quarterback.
I don't know.
Veteran. Come on. A guy, Travis Hunter, Rookie of the Year. I like it.
Stay Hungry Football Camp, Sacramento, July 12th.
Yes, sir.
Eric, thank you for joining us. Best of luck this year.
Where y'all find these guys?
They come from forever. They're the best. Yeah, he's in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.